Good afternoon, guys. My name is Alina Shevtsova. I'm an immigration attorney from New York. In today's video, we're going to discuss the most recent immigration news. We're going to talk about immigration court updates with regard to COVID situation, nationwide updates. We're going to talk about a little bit immigration reform. And of course, I'm going to share with you some tips on immigration. And we're going to talk about whether public charge rule are going back. So thank you very much for watching. If this is your first time here, please join. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I help immigrants in all 50 states and overseas. I regularly provide updates on the most interesting and current immigration issues and share my thoughts and tips on various immigration situations in the United States. So thank you very much, and let's start. Well, first of all, we're going to talk about immigration courts and what's happening. Why? It's because it's very important. Because if you miss your immigration court hearing, you will be found in default and deported automatically. So for an immigrant in the United States who's in immigration court proceedings, this should be a number one concern. What happens is that Executive Office of Immigration Review decided to cancel all master and individual hearings for non-represented respondents, so people who do not have lawyer or whose lawyers have not submitted their notices of appearance. An immigration court simply does not have information about those lawyers on file. So for those people, hearings are going to be canceled currently through January 31st, 2022. If, however, you are non-detained and unrepresented, you may still save your hearing date if you're going to promptly let the court know that you would like to proceed with the hearing by phone or by video. Extremely important, guys. It's going to delay cases of many people, and I suspect that not only those who are represented but hearings are not represented, but hearings for those who are also represented may be affected by this policy change. It's all happening because immigration courts will basically try to reduce amount of in-person visitors in the facilities. Good news is that for those who are detained, the hearings are going to go forward as they did previously by phone or by video. And of course, overall, it's troubling news because we hope that the courts will not be shut down like they did previously, growing the backlog. So if you are in this situation where you were delaying to retain an attorney, unless of course you already set your mind and decided to represent yourself, you should consider hiring counsel right away and asking that lawyer to submit their notice of appearance with immigration court right away. Extremely important. What's going to happen after this is going to be determined by the judge who is responsible for your case. The judge may do two things. The judge may have the master hearing over the phone or video, or the judge may cancel the master hearing and issue what's called a scheduling order, where all the paperwork that should be filed on the master hearing and more will have to be filed within a specific deadline that the judge is going to announce. Extremely important. This is called scheduling order. I've been talking about the scheduling orders for a while. Those appeared under the new memo that was distributed to lawyers and to immigration courts. And they're very similar to federal scheduling orders that are used in regular federal litigation, not related to immigration. I personally like it better just because now you know that you submitted some documents and those documents were accepted by the court, and it organizes the cases more in my perspective, if of course everything goes according to the plan and on time. Now, another important factor, immigration court is going to accept all the filings by online filings only starting February 11. Again, a very important information for those of you who are unrepresented, and of course lawyers should know this information as well. I wouldn't say it's difficult to submit that. The only difficulties usually come from the system kicking back the documents. And of course, once we start doing it for every case, we will know better how the system truly works. I know that it works excellently for regular federal courts. And hopefully, we're going to have the same result for immigration courts as well. And final tip, if you are in immigration court proceedings and it's not going to harm your case, consider asking your lawyer about administrative closure or termination of your case. These are two different things. Administrative closure pauses your case and makes it inactive, but you are still in immigration court proceedings, and you can have your employment authorization if you have an underlying pending application. Termination is different. Termination is when your case in immigration court would be closed, usually without prejudice. Without prejudice means that the government may place you in removal proceedings again if you do not cure the situation or obtain a green card. Termination would be usually applied for if you have an opportunity to adjust your status to get a green card with USCIS. So please consider these two options. It will help probably to speed up your case in most situations, in most cases, and also will help to clean up the backlogs in immigration courts, which should be focusing on the most difficult cases like asylum, cancellation, or removal, for example. Now, interesting news about public charge. Do you remember the public charge? The public charge that was like a very bad situation for everybody who was filing for adjustment of status. Believe it or not, some attorney generals from some states would like to have it back. They have a lawsuit going on in the United States Supreme Court, and the court is going to hear the arguments on the issue next month, according to the media, whether or not the public charge should be back. If you recall, the Trump administration brought the public charge rule, trying to disqualify many immigrants from an opportunity to get green cards in the United States or even visas. But when Biden administration took over, the rule was canceled, forgotten. The Biden administration was not going to implement it or proceed with it any further, right? After it was blocked by courts and so on and so forth. But now there is this group of people trying to revive it. You have to watch out for that particular situation. Why? It may not be as planned or as we hope for. The Supreme Court in the past made some rulings showing that certain decisions by the administration cannot be made without proper notices and so on and so forth. And it may be one of those situations. I don't know. We're going to see what's going to happen. Of course, I do not want the public charge to be back. You do not want to be the public charge to be back. And this is something is worth following, this particular news. So also the bottom line, if you have an opportunity to file your adjustment of status case now, when that Trump administration public charge rule is not in effect, go ahead. Just in case. And finally, immigration reform update. There is no immigration reform update. I'm sorry. The only information that we have right now is that Democrats keep saying that they will fight for the immigration reform and maybe will consider Plan D, believe it or not. Well, they didn't call it Plan D. They just stated that there may be a new option that hopefully will be in compliance with the Senate parliamentarian guidelines and standards, but what can it be? We do not know. All we know that they're trying to use everything and all they have in their power to try to have some immigration provisions before the final voting is going to be done on the reconciliation bill. That's about it for now. It means that you either can wait for the immigration reform, you can just maybe find out what other options you may have, or if you already know you don't have options, so yes, that's also an option not to do anything. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that little update. Remember to stay on top of your immigration case and like, share this video. comment. Please let me know what you think is going to happen in the United States with regard to immigration within the next 6 to 8 months. Let's set for ourselves this short timeline, and I hope to see you soon.